children.
Hello, dear explorers on the island of knowledge. Have you ever heard that you cannot fold a regular sheet of paper in half more than 8 times? This is a very popular saying, but is it true? Or maybe it is another fascinating puzzle that nature has given us to solve. I invite everyone to join me in exploring this mystery. At the stone circle, I met the armadillo and the orangutan, who had some interesting ideas about this. The armadillo said that paper just gets tired. After the 7th fold, it is so squeezed and sore that on the 8th try, it refuses to cooperate and becomes as hard as his shell. The orangutan thought it was about the balance of the universe. He believed that after the 8th fold, the paper becomes so small and dense that it could disturb the harmony of the island, so nature simply does not allow it, so it does not turn into a small, heavy stone. I smiled when I heard their ideas. I explained to them that paper does not have feelings and does not refuse to fold, and folding it does not threaten the island's balance. The real reason is something else, and is connected to the fact that with each fold, the paper gets thicker and shorter. At the Lighthouse of Time, I met the ibis and the toucan. The ibis shared that he once tried to build a very warm nest by folding wide, flat grasses many times to make a thick floor. He said that the first few folds were easy, making a soft layer, but soon the grasses became so thick and stiff at the fold that he could not fold them anymore. The toucan added that he had a similar problem when he found a long piece of bark and wanted to fold it into a small, handy container for seeds. He proudly described folding it in half again and again, but after a few folds, the bark became so thick that he could not fold it anymore, only break it into pieces. I summed up their stories by saying that both of their experiences show the same problem. Every material, no matter how thin at first, becomes too thick and stiff to fold after several times. In the grove of questions, I met the macaw and the sloth. I decided to test their knowledge and asked what they knew about folding paper. The macaw explained that with each fold, the thickness of the paper doubles. After 1 fold, there are only 2 layers, but after 8 folds, there are already 256 layers, which makes a very thick and stiff bundle. The sloth added that at the same time, with each fold, the area you can fold gets smaller. He also noticed that the myth about 8 folds was broken when someone used a very, very long and thin roll of paper and managed to fold it 12 times. I praised them for knowing so much. The limit in folding paper comes from the exponential growth of thickness and the shrinking area, but with a big enough and thin enough sheet, the 8-fold record can be beaten. Curious researchers, today we explored the mystery of folding paper. We learned that although for a regular sheet, 8 folds is usually the limit, it is not impossible to go further. Everything depends on the thickness and length of the material, and the main challenge is that the thickness doubles with each fold. I hope this fun fact encourages you to ask more questions and check things that seem obvious. See you for more discoveries on the Island of Knowledge.